Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's Shino, and we're back in Modded to the Magical Max. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing good. Last episode, we went ahead and made some of the Jonas pieces from the base game, vanilla version of Vintage Story. And in addition to that, we also made some stainless steel, or at least got it going. It took a little bit of time to do, but we now have 16 stainless steel ingots here, and I've got 16 more prepared, ready to go. And as a reminder, the stainless steel, that's something that's been brought in by the swords mod, and it's a tier above steel. So we would see that the steel pickaxe is a tool tier 5 with 2500 durability, and if we go to stainless steel, we're going to be tier 6 with 3500 durability. So that's pretty cool. Now, above stainless steel is the titanium, which is tier 7. And that's what I've got going in here. And titanium was actually, we didn't look at it in the last episode. But if we do the prepared ingots, again, these are the ingots that are added by the swords mod. There's a stainless steel and there's a titanium. Titanium is actually easier to make because you don't need the nickel. You don't need the chromite. You're using ilmenite, which is the titanium ore that you find in the world. And that's part of the base game. And then you just need the manganese powder, which you get from the rhodochrosite and then lime. So this is actually pretty easy. So once I saw that, I was like, yeah, let's go ahead and make some titanium. So in addition to just working on making making some more of the stainless steel and getting some more steel ingots together, I did go ahead and start working on making some more just normal steel. So we've got 18 more blister steel here. Now there is part of the X Skills mod. We've kind of identified it a couple times that when you're working on different metal pieces, you'll get bits back. And if I go here and I type in steel, you'll see I've got 9 of these blister steel bits. And if you take a look, there is a recipe for combining these together. You need 27 or 24 of them in this pattern right here, and that'll get you 1 blister steel ingot. So that is another way you can get a little extra steel as you're working, on your metal pieces. For me, it's been pretty good because I wanted to go ahead and make a bunch of steel plates. Kind of getting ready for today's episode, wanted some extra steel. So while I was making these plates, I kept getting more and more of those bits. So I ended up getting enough to get 2 more of the blister steel ingot. So I've had 1 more full coffin of steel plus those 2. So that is going to be very helpful. Where's this at? 94%. This is so close to being done. Looking forward to it. Now, there's no prep after you do. After you do the stainless steel, it came out looking like this. So it didn't have to be refined like a blister steel does. So that's pretty cool. It's just ready to go. Oh, I remember there was one more thing I wanted to talk about. I do have some tier 2 bricks that I've been putting in as these have been breaking. I've been able to replace them with the tier 2. You can mix bricks, so you don't have to worry about replacing them all at once. So it's cool. Use up your tier 1s until they're all gone. Go ahead and make your tier 2s, and you can start loading in your tier 2s. In the meantime, I went ahead and started grinding up the stuff that I'm going to need for making the tier 3 bricks. The tier 3 bricks require just the ilmenite getting added into it. So this is the components you need for the tier 2 bricks. And then you just have to add that in to make tier 3 bricks. So we should be here pretty quick. We'll be getting ready to convert over into the tier 3 bricks. Now, just about like last episode, there's going to be a lot of crafting kind of taking place in this one. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to grab that leather out of there. We are going to need some leather. And so I'm going to go ahead. That is weak tannin. That's strong. Is that enough? Only do 3. Only do 2. All right, we'll get that done. So we're going to need to be doing a lot of crafting stuff. We're going to need a lot of different components that go into this. And as I said, we're going to need some leather for this process. And luckily, we've got quite a bit. So we're not stuck for leather. So if we did a complete set, we'd need about 24 leather. I know we're not going to be doing a complete set. Yeah, we might. We'll go ahead and keep on that. We'll need get at least that much for us. All right. And then for steel, we are going to need 16 steel plates, which I've got 16. I got 19 over here. So that's good. But we're also going to need 20 chain. So we're going to have to make some more chain from what we've got here. And this is going to be enough for 9 from what we've got just right here. So we're going to go ahead. What we're going to do is, because of X skills gives us the ability to kind of gain a couple of extra pieces. We're going to go ahead and process this blister steel into normal steel. And then we're going to go into the chain using these and see if we can get the 20 steel chain that we need. All right, that's all done. So we'll start off with 18 ingots. Now I have 25. That's pretty good. I'm going to need at least, so to get 20 chain, it's going to be the same as 10 plates. That needs at least 40 ingots, and I've got 25 there. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out, that'll give me a 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. So that should be total number of ingots that I need now for... There we go. Should be the total number that I need now. So let's get these all fired up, and I'm going to make a bunch of chain, and hopefully we'll get a couple of extras and I won't have to use them all. Okay, I did it. I got 16. I got 21 the chain. I've got 4 more here that are ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and convert them over and let those go. I'm going to put these other 12 back up. So I'm not going to need, I just need a few more. I start off with 128 in that. So I end up using 3 of those, but really, I don't really need them, but we're going to go ahead and do them anyways. In addition, here's those blister steel bits, right? So I can go ahead and put all those around like that. And there's 5 more ingots of blister steel, and there's 2 more. So yeah, it gives me a total of 7 more ingots worth of steel that I'll be able to recover. So that hang on to here for a little bit later, just in case. And let me get these processed, and we'll come back and start crafting. Okay, so that first one gave me 8. Golly. Is there any tools that I need? Steel. You know what we should make? We should go ahead and make a pair of shears. Those always come in handy. And let's make a saw blade. Yes. Cool. Holy cow. It's a bunch. I'm going to put you guys in there just to kind of cool off for now. All right, let's we're going farther. Yes. That is too cool right there. Titanium. What can we make with the titanium? Looks like just the base tools, which I'm okay with that. You look at like a titanium pickaxe, 4,500 on the durability, 11x on the stone. Yeah, that's huge. I mean, the steel one, of course, we are jumping 2 levels there. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then these require a working temperature 834. Workable temperature 834, smelting temperature 1668. So we're going to test this real quick. I think what that means is that as long as I get it to 834 degrees, I can work these. I believe that's what that means. All right, we're at 1050 degrees, so moment of truth. 1, do we need a higher tier? Well, we do. We need a tier 5 anvil. All right. Yeah, so we're going to have to upgrade our anvil in addition to probably need to go ahead and make it. Oh, we'll have to make it stainless steel for processing the titanium, right? So yeah, we're going to have to go ahead and do that. So that means this and that. The rest of this is probably going to have to go into making my anvil. Okay, definitely. That's doable. I can do that. Not right now though. We're going to be working on some other stuff right now. So let's take a look at what we're going to need for the plate armor. So, originally I said we'll go ahead and use some of the pieces that we've already acquired just to kind of save us. But since we had such kind of a good bonus on making the chain, I'm going to go ahead and just make all the pieces from scratch. Okay. So let's go take a look at the plate armor and see what we're going to need for that. Now, we're going to be making the steel plate. So for that, we're going to need to make the helmet, the armor, and the body and the legs. And for the helmet, you're going to need to make the chain head armor steel. And then those are just 3 steel plates or 3 steel chains there. So let's grab these out of here. And we should be able to just do it all right from here. So there's the chain head plate, or the chain head. It's going to put everything into my inventory there, so it's a little bit easier to see. All right, so we've got that. We're going to be making this piece next. And that's pretty simple. 1, 2, and 3. And we'll put that in the middle, and then 2 pieces of leather on the outside. There we go. There is our plate helmet steel. I'm going to go ahead and throw it on the ground just so we get our item rarity. Common. That's all right. All right, let's take a look at the leg piece. For that, we're going to need to make the chain leg armor. And to make the chain leg armor, we're going to need to make the leg leather jerkin. And for that, we're going to need some leather strips. And let me double check. I think the leather strips, yeah, knife and leather. And we're going to need at least 4 of these. So I'm going to do 2. We only need 1 right now, but we're gonna need some more here in just a minute. And I'm hoping that this all will work right there. Yes, it will. Cool. And now we can make the chain leg armor. Go. Now we can upgrade that to the plate armor. Boom. And the next piece we're going to need is going to be the body armor. Again, we're going to need the body leather. And here's where those other 3 pieces of leather is going to be needed at. Okay, leather jerkin there. Put those across. Put some across here, some across there. There's the chain. And then now for making this, just a matter of just plates all around it. Here we go. So simple, man. I have made these before from the very beginning. Maybe it's the iron ones that always seem to take like so much to do. No, I don't know. It just seemed like it took a lot longer to make those in previous playthroughs when I did it. Maybe that's just the advantage of having so many items available for use. All right, for this chain, it's got to cool off still. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to put it over here for now. Just let it cool off. Cool. And let's take a look. So right now we are sporting the Rustbound Magic Spellweavers pieces. Which are those? Yeah, those are tier 3. And this, what we're going to be putting on, is going to be tier 4. But we can look and see that we do have the percent protection is 97%. Flat damage reduction 1.8, 1.8, 97 for each piece. All right. So how's this stuff important? Your protection tier matches up against your damage tier of your mob that you're fighting. So like a double-headed drifter is a tier 4 drifter. So everything that is below tier 4, I get a boost to it. So the percent protection is at 97%. So it's pretty much saying, hey, you know, only 3% of the damage that is done can get through. And the way that the mechanic works in the game is that when Vintage Story combat rules take effect, kind of think of like Dungeons and Dragons. You know, I swing my axe at your leg, you know, and then it's going to roll and see what the chance of hitting is. And that's exactly what happens in Vintage Story, except for it's only looking at 3 pieces. It's looking at, you know, when the attack is happening, is it happening to the head? Is it happening to the body? Or is it happening to the legs? Whatever the armor tier is that's on that body part when the attack happens, they're going to match that up against the damage tier of the mob that's attacking you. So I'm going to use a double-headed drifter as an example. It's a tier 4. So he attacks any piece of this. It's also tier 4. So while the base damage that a double-headed drifter can do doesn't show, but the base tier damage that a double-headed drifter can do, I think, is 24 is what it can do. If you look at the wiki page on the Vintage Story wiki, you'll see that with plate armor, it reduces it to 4.7 or 4.3, I think it was, is the amount of damage that can come through if you're wearing plate armor and you're attacked by a double-headed drifter. So it's basically getting rid of 20 hit points worth of damage by wearing that armor. So that's pretty significant if you think about it. Now, if we go into the titanium plate, let's take a look at the titanium body. See, it's only jumping up 1% from 97 to 98%, but it's protection tier 6. And why that's important is that when you have, so I'm a tier 6 on my protection, I'm being attacked by a tier 4, it's going to do that whole mitigation. But on top of that, it's going to give me a bonus for 2 tiers of additional protection above what's normally happening. So with this modded item, this titanium plate armor is going to actually end up putting us basically taking about maybe 2 hit points of damage from a double-headed drifter versus what we would normally be getting. So that's where the significance of the protection tier comes from. So having armor that's higher than the mobs that you're attacking is a really good thing. Now, it doesn't matter, I guess, if I show, if you have 2 armors that are tier 5, you don't get any additional bonuses off of it unless there's certain characteristics for that. So black bronze is a tier 2. This is the 10 bronze is a tier 2, but you'll see the percent protection is 92% and the flat damage is 1.6. Whereas the black bronze, also tier 2, 1.65 and 95% protection. So you get, sometimes there's a couple of metals that may have additional benefits that you wouldn't normally see with the other one. Meteoric iron's another one over standard iron. So keep that in mind whenever you're trying to decide what armor you want to use. We're going to go ahead and make one more thing here. Let's go ahead and process that extra blister steel that we got. See if we get any bonuses off of it. Nothing there. Nothing there. Nothing so far. This group's coming out a little better. Gotten 7 off of 2 of them so far. 2 more. Nice. That's what I like to see. All right, let's make a couple more things here really quick. I would like to have a boss and a steel loop. Oh, 3 bosses, sweet. Let's get a steel loop. Two of those. Cool. I'm just going to put the rest of you right here for now, just to cool off. And what I'd like to make is a new shield. So shields are important too in the game as far as being able to mitigate damage. It's not something that you use like all the time, but it is something that you want to have with you, especially if you start getting into heavier fights or you start getting, a lot of mobs coming at you. There are several different layers of shields that you can get, from just the crude shield to the wooden shield to the leather reinforced. And then you can go into the fancy ornate ones. We're going to be doing a leather reinforced one, and you'll see that it's all kind of based upon what your metal is that you make it out of. And shields work really good because you don't have to actively be using them. They can work passively too, so you can have it and not be blocking, which you block by holding the shift key. And you do that, and basically, it's holding it up in front of you, right? But even just having it, it's passive use. It gives a block chance of 15%, and it can help reduce your damage absorption by 2.5 hit points. So remember, we're talking about, battling against a double-headed drifter with our steel plate armor, and we may, just standing there taking a hit, we might take 4.3. Well, just having that shield with us gives us another chance of cutting that damage down even further by another 2.5 hit points. So shields are a good thing to have with you when you start getting into more difficult fights. And I want to make the leather reinforced, and I think it is just in the corners where that goes, if I remember. Yeah, that's what it is. So this one, it's going to be made out of steel. It has a block chance of 90%, and it's going to be taking 4.5 hit points out. Just having it passively, 2.5 hit points with a 15% block chance. So yay for me. That's going to come in handy during some upcoming fights. So let's take off this that and that, and we're going to put on that, that, and that. And let's go ahead and put our shield. Let's get the hot stuff out of our inventory right now. There we go. That's everything hot out of our inventory, right? Cool. Okay. A couple things to note when you're wearing your armor. Let's get over here and turn this off. You'll notice that I'm moving a lot slower. And if I hit C and take a look at it, you're going to see that walk speed is down to 73%. Hunger rate is 150%. And my range accuracy and range charge speed have been reduced greatly. If we swap this back out, you'll see just swapping out that one piece, hunger rate went down to 131%, 120, 89%. So yeah, these things take a massive drain on your food stores whenever you're using them. So keep that in mind. You're going to have to make sure that when you're wearing your heavy armor, that you are making sure that you have additional food with you. In addition, you'll see now that, when I've got my shield on and I go to C, now you can see it's at 172% versus 152. Now it's 172%. So that is going to make me get really hungry really fast. Now, I have the angel belt. So with the angel belt, I can fly around. It doesn't decrease my hunger rate. My hunger rate's still there. It's allows me to travel farther in the same amount of time, which means that I can travel, a greater distance on the same amount of food as I normally could. So there is that advantage to having the angel belt on. But yeah, you're going to make sure that you always have extra food on at all times. Well, let's see what kind of damage we can get into here. I know these guys are all pretty low. See, he's not going to hardly do anything to me. Yeah, not a whole lot. Now, even if I let go and put my shield down, see, not hardly taking any damage whatsoever here. Now, these guys are all just surface drifters, so there's really not a whole lot here that's going to cause me a whole lot of problems. I even went up to the top and saw that this top one is just a surface drifter one. So yeah, not a whole lot of damage can be done here. I'm going to check this thing out though. What's this? It's a tier 4. Oh, that's cool. I'll break this one while I'm here. So speaking of go back and look at the damage log from when they were coming after me. And you can see pretty much everything blocked by shield, blocked by shield, blocked by shield. Yeah, no damage getting through. When you see the 0 of 0 damage blocked by shield, that means that the shield didn't block it. Damage got past the shield, but it did no damage to me. So, because I was wearing tier 4 armor going against a tier 1 mob, yeah, not going to do any damage to me whatsoever. So I'm just out here flying around, see if I can find some wolves or a bear or something that I could test this armor against. And really not seeing anything. So I thought, well, if I find another tower, maybe, if it's a stronger tower, maybe. Still looking. Hey, we finally found a wolf. He's a damage tier 2. No big deal whatsoever. Damage tier 2. And you see there was 4.5 of 5.7 damage blocked by the shield. So didn't block all the damage. Took a little bit, but not that bad. Okay, I know something that we can go exploring. There is large ruin right here. These usually end up having some pretty good bad guys in them. A couple bells, things like that. There's a bell. That was quick. Spawn anything? There's one guy there. There's a guy. See, now he's a tier 4, so he's got the same damage ability as me. So 2.5 of 18.4 was blocked by my shield. And then I lost 2.39 HP to damage on that. All right, I am going to go ahead and take all the leaded pane glass that's here. I'm going to go ahead and grab that. And I'm looking for also, if I can find it, I would like to have an altar. If I can find one. I was kind of hoping there would be one inside this, but if not, that's no big deal. But it'd be kind of nice to have. And there are a ton of vessels in this, and I'm not taking the vessels because that's usually like really low tier stuff, and I really don't, I don't have a whole lot of space in my inventory at this moment. So I'm going to try to just kind of keep it just to the stuff that, are going to be some things that are either hard to make or can't be made or require, a lot of resources to make. So yeah, leaded glass fits that bill, especially since these are the aged ones. So it definitely fits the bill. Well, I searched as far as I could, trying to see if I could find a bear. I found wolf. That was it. I think we saw that one. Didn't find really anything else. A couple, like corrupt drifters, tainted drifters, things like that. I could always go down in one of these holes and probably do some combat, but really trying to find something. The double-headed drifters are really what I'm going to need to find. See if I can demonstrate. But I think you kind of get the point. Basically, I'm a tank now. What I have the ability. And I guess since I have magic and I can wear plate armor, does that make me a paladin? Maybe so. All right. That's going to do it for this episode, though. A little short episode talking about plate armor, how to make it, how to use it. Next episode, we're going to go back into the magic stuff. Since we now have the ability to upgrade to tier 4 in Rustbound Magic, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and jump into and become a tier 4 mage in the next episode, okay? All right, folks. Hey, thanks for spending time with me. This is Shino, and we will see you in the next video. Take care.